Oh, actually, hold on a second. Forgot to do that in yesterday's video. Now it's actually a little bit brighter in here. And you know what? I like that right now what you see on screen does look a little bit brighter. Because that's the perfect metaphor for how I'm feeling right now. But before I get into that, let's get into my low, my high, my act of kindness. What's my low? Well, I guess the only real legit low I've had is I didn't really get that much sleep last night. And that really is largely due to just this mountain air. Thankfully, I'm going home soon, so it doesn't really matter at this point. But my high is pretty much all of yesterday, pretty much this whole trip. That's been my high. I mean, listen, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Considering that the last time I was here was in Colorado, that is, was not for a very good reason, even if it would have been better for my health. I mean, this trip would have only gone up from here. This trip was what I was going to make of it, and that's exactly what this trip was. And I mean, maybe because I was with family, or maybe I just needed to get away from the state of New York for a while without even realizing it. But I'm actually feeling really rejuvenated. Like, which is funny because again, I barely got any sleep last night and this mountain air is in me. Seriously, like I can feel myself breathing heavy right now because of the elevation. I mean, if we were here longer, I'm sure I'd probably get used to it. But honestly, this trip has run its course. Before I go on, let me get to my act of kindness. So, full disclosure, I already had family that lived out in Colorado anyway. In fact, they have a house here in Dillon. But other members of my family have also moved out to Colorado because they're my aunt and uncle and they retired. So I have two sets of aunts and uncles that currently live out here now. And yesterday I got to see my aunt and uncle's new place. The ones that, because again, I had the aunt and uncle that already lived in Colorado and one set of aunt and uncle lived in Massachusetts. They moved out here. So I got to see the ladders yesterday and it was beautiful. But there was an old dresser that they wanted to get rid of. So I helped get rid of the dresser. Which was not, I mean, if I was wearing shorts, I'd be able to tell you that one of the corners, or maybe it was one of the feet of the dresser, got like my knee right here. Like, it pierced the skin, and there's a bit of a bruise there right now. So, yeah, that was my act of kindness. I helped move some furniture, as well as, you know, any other things I could do. Like, you know, people were done eating food, so I removed the trash plates and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm feeling pretty well rejuvenated right now. I just can't believe this trip is already almost over. I mean, right now the plan is we're gonna go to my aunt and uncle, the one from Massachusetts, new place, like very quickly just for a quick visit, because Denver International is a good hour and a half away. And you know you have to get to your airport like 2 hours before your flight takes off. And Denver International is notorious for being not a very good airport. So right now the plan is to look through everything, make sure I pack up everything ready to go, and yeah, we're going to be off. A part of me just still can't believe how, I mean, on the one hand, this was one trip that, I mean, considering the last time I was out here in Colorado, I was not happy at all. This trip could have only gotten better, and it was. But considering that I still harbor some memories from the last time I was here, I'm not going to lie. A part of me really didn't want to go because I really thought about snapping. But the entire time here, that hasn't been the case at all. I mean, to be fair though, my family has always done a good job of making me feel loved and welcome, so that always helps. Right now, much like very early Thursday morning, my goal is just to get back to upstate New York safely. Let's see. Unfortunately, the one clock I could use right now is my computer, and I turned it off. I know it's definitely between 6 and 7 right now, meaning it's between 8 and 9 back in New York, so it's going to be a very long, definitely more than 15 hours, because, again, we get to Denver at, hopefully before noon, and then we just have to wait for our flight to take off at 3:50. Hey, listen, this is Denver International. I just said it's notorious for being slow, and if you've ever been at Denver International as you're leaving Denver International, the line just to get through security is ungodly. Like, my God. Like, I think the last time I was here, like, my flight left at like 6 o'clock in the morning or something like that, and it was still a long line to get through security, and then you gotta go through a train or two possibly to get to your gate. If you need to get yourself some food, do that. Like, there's a lot to prepare for a 3:50 flight, and that's 3:50 here, meaning it's going to be 5:50 back in New York. We'll end in Detroit, well, considering it's 2 hours ahead now, pretty much at like 8, 9 o'clock at night. And that gives us barely an hour to get to wherever our gate is to fly back to New York. Or Elmira specifically. So, there's a lot to do. I mean, considering that my entire mind is screwed up with, the time difference and the possible jet lag and, just how exciting and adventurous everything's been. For one thing, something's going to hit me hard. Could be a sickness, could be, I don't know what, but it's going to hit me hard. But also, it's going to be a long day of just basically traveling. But I think the instant we land in Elmira, that is when I'll be able to relax. But personally, I'll just be able to relax when I get up to Keuka Lake tonight. It's going to be probably 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, New York time, when I fall asleep. And chances are I may actually have to take the long way to get to Keuka Lake, because the route we normally take would potentially be filled with deer at night. And on top of all that, considering that, unless I get breakfast here, I'm probably not really going to be able to eat much throughout the day. Like, seriously, last night, it's funny, after we went to church last night, my parents and I stopped at Target, or as I like to call a white girl sanctuary, and I got myself 2 big bags of Chex Mix. there is a possibility that might be my dinner for tonight. We'll have to see. And it's funny because Detroit has a Chick-fil-A, and my mom was like, we'll just go to Chick-fil-A when we stop in Detroit. Mom, today is Sunday. Chick-fil-A is not open on Sundays. So, again, play it by ear. I mean, there's always the chance that maybe our flight from Denver to Detroit will be faster. I mean, according to my mom, it's actually a really short flight, like 2:20 or something like that, 2 hours and 20 minutes. I mean, regardless of when we land in Detroit, our flight to Elmira won't leave until like 10 o'clock. So I'm getting the feeling we're going to have to book it. But I'm ready to go. You know, honestly, and I mentioned this earlier, a part of me really didn't want to go. But then my mom confided something into me yesterday. Because, my brother, sister-in-law, my nephews can come out here because, well, 3 little kids can be really rambunctious. More importantly, like, they've done a lot of traveling already, and, you know, they need a break from traveling for a while. I mean, they've been like 3-4 weddings so far this summer. It's unbelievable. And they all had to travel for them. So my mom confided in me that she was really glad I went out here. Because, I mean, the main reason why I was out here was to scatter my grandmother's ashes at the top of Shrine Pass, which I did. And as my mom was talking to me, she actually started welling up a little bit. I mean, regardless of the last time I was here, I was going to come out here no matter what, whether I liked it or not. Honestly, the only real big problem I've had this whole trip so far is because my mom at one point thought I wasn't going to go. She didn't think to get me a room for myself. So, for all intents and purposes, I've been rooming with my mom and dad, which, I mean, isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, I'm 34 years old. I shouldn't be rooming with my mom and dad. Full disclosure, like, this couch that I'm sitting on pulls out into a bed. I've had to sleep on this couch. The master bedroom is like next to this room. And my folks are either asleep right now or they're just waking up. I don't know. But yeah, rooming with my parents has been a bit of an inconvenience, but considering everything that's happened to me so far this year, it isn't the worst thing that's happened. Well, I could say the worst thing that could happen to me is death, which, again, I am flying. That is possible. Which reminds me, I'm sure some of you guys are wondering, didn't you just wear this outfit? Yeah, I did. It's called I Did My Laundry. And honestly, this is the most comfortable outfit I could think of wearing going to and from, Colorado. So I'm definitely dressed warm and comfortable for the moment. So that's good. Which reminds me, the weather here, I mean, yeah, we've had some rain, but the weather so far this trip has been nothing short of phenomenal. I mean, unfortunately, because this is a completely different time zone and area of the country, like New York has been like pretty much consistent 80, 90 degree days and pretty high humidity, which don't get me wrong, it's summertime, that's what I'd rather have. Here though, like it's been pretty cool in the morning, like 50, 60 degrees. And yeah, it got warmer during the day, but never got unbearably hot either. I mean, again, because we're in the mountains, I'm pretty sure humidity is a lot different here. But that's how crazy this trip has been. Like, there are so many varying factors as to what could make this trip work or not work, or things we had to do or things we couldn't do. I mean, listen, full disclosure, there's a whole lot of stuff I would like to do out here in Colorado. I really would. I mean, I'd like to go to the mountains and visit a couple hot springs. I'd like to go to Six Flags. I think it's at Six Flags, Elitch Gardens in Denver, or go to Water World. Oh, there's a big water park in Denver, in Colorado. It's awesome. Of course, I'd like to be able to do that stuff. But if I was there, that would technically mean less time up at the lake. And I mean, I only get so many days up at Keuka Lake a year. For all intents and purposes, I just missed this weekend because I'm here and not there. I mean, I'm on vacation all this week, so I'm going to be up there every day. But, you know, those 2-3 days would make all the difference for me. But that's my burden to bear. And not to mention, there was a party I was invited to that I couldn't go, but don't worry, I was able to send a happy birthday message for said party, so I got that done. I guess waiting to head back to the airport, that's the only thing I can really do right now. And get this video uploaded, of course. So, yeah. For all intents and purposes, even at my most confident, I was still skeptical about coming back to Colorado. But I can genuinely say, not only was this trip exponentially better, but I would do it all over again. Hopefully, if I ever come back up here, it won't be during the summer. So, well, actually, here's the thing: it would need to be during like early spring, very early summer before we open up the lake, because I really want to get back to the lake right now. And speaking of lakes, oh, you can see the lake behind me. Sorry. I got up too fast. I gotta relax a little bit. So, yeah. You can see the lake a little bit better from there. Okay. So, I hope you liked this video. If you did, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, on social media. As always, I'm very humble in this video for all of you guys watching Joe today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Happy Sunday, folks. And remember, if any of you guys want to talk, I'm always over here. Linda was back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby. And I'll be back in the 607 tomorrow, God willing.